Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most talked about moments in daytime television history, where Hollywood heavyweight Liam Neeson stormed off the set of The View after co-host Joy Behar crossed a line that no one saw coming. It all started innocently enough, with Neeson appearing on the show to promote his latest action thriller, a film packed with high-stakes chases and intense drama that fans have come to expect from the star of Taken and countless other blockbusters. The atmosphere was electric as the hosts welcomed him with applause, and for the first few minutes, everything seemed fine: light banter, laughs about his Irish roots, and even some nods to his iconic roles. But then, Joy Behar, known for her sharp tongue and unfiltered opinions, decided to steer the conversation into personal territory. She began by reminiscing about Neeson's past interviews, hinting at his romantic history and making jokes about his age and appeal that started off playful but quickly turned awkward. Neeson, ever the gentleman, tried to laugh it off at first, responding with his signature dry wit, but you could see the discomfort building in his eyes. The audience sensed it too, with murmurs rippling through the crowd as Behar doubled down, pushing further into topics like his late wife's passing and how he's handled grief in the public eye, subjects that Neeson has always guarded closely. It was as if she was probing for a reaction, perhaps to spark viral controversy, but instead, she ignited a firestorm. Neeson shifted in his seat, his responses growing shorter and more clipped, until finally, he had enough. In a moment that will be replayed for years, he stood up mid-sentence, removed his microphone, and declared, "I've had quite enough of this nonsense," before walking off the set to stunned silence from the hosts and gasps from the live audience. Backstage sources later revealed that Neeson was furious, feeling ambushed by what he perceived as insensitive questioning that veered far from the promotional intent of his appearance. The View's producers scrambled to fill the airtime, cutting to commercial abruptly, while social media erupted in real time with hashtags like #NeesonWalksOff and #JoyBehar2Far trending worldwide within minutes. Critics and fans alike debated the incident. Was Behar just being her bold self, or had she truly overstepped? Supporters of Neeson praised his poise in handling the situation, noting how he maintained composure until the breaking point, while others accused the show of exploiting celebrities for ratings. This wasn't the first time The View has courted controversy, but this episode felt different, more raw, more personal. As the dust settled, statements from both sides emerged. Neeson's team issued a polite but firm no comment, emphasizing his respect for the hosts but disappointment in the direction of the interview. Behar, on the other hand, addressed it in a follow-up episode, defending her questions as part of lively discussion but acknowledging that boundaries can sometimes blur in live TV. The fallout extended beyond the studio, with late-night hosts like Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert poking fun at the awkwardness, recreating the scene in skits that amassed millions of views. Industry insiders speculated on whether this would affect Neeson's future appearances or The View's guest bookings, with some suggesting it highlighted the growing tension between celebrities and talk shows in the era of cancel culture. But let's dive deeper into what led up to this climactic exit. Neeson's history with the media has been checkered, from his candid admissions about personal struggles to his no-nonsense approach to interviews. Behar, a veteran of the show since its inception, has built her brand on provocative commentary, often sparking debates on politics, relationships, and pop culture. Their clash seemed inevitable in hindsight, a collision of two strong personalities unwilling to back down. Viewers at home were divided. Some empathized with Neeson, sharing stories of their own uncomfortable encounters, while others rallied behind Behar, arguing that tough questions are the essence of good journalism. The incident also sparked broader conversations about respect in media, the ethics of probing into private lives, and the pressure on stars to remain unflappable under scrutiny. As we unpack this further, it's clear that this walk-off wasn't just a momentary lapse but a symptom of larger issues in entertainment reporting. Stay tuned as we explore eyewitness accounts, expert opinions, and what this means for the future of daytime TV. Because if one thing's certain, it's that Liam Neeson doesn't back down from a fight, even if it's off-screen. Now, let's rewind the tape and analyze the build-up to the fateful moment when Liam Neeson decided he'd had enough of Joy Behar's relentless probing on The View. The interview kicked off with standard fare, Neeson discussing his rigorous training regimen for his new movie, sharing anecdotes about stunts gone wrong and the physical toll of action roles at his age. The hosts, including Whoopi Goldberg and Sarah Haynes, chimed in with admiration, keeping things light and engaging. But Behar, positioned right next to him, couldn't resist injecting her trademark sarcasm. She started with a seemingly harmless quip about his enduring sex symbol status, referencing old magazine covers and fan crushes, which elicited chuckles from the panel. Neeson played along, humbly deflecting with stories from his early career in theater. However, Behar didn't stop there. She pivoted to more intimate territory, asking about his dating life post-widowhood and whether he ever felt lonely in the spotlight. This shift caught everyone off guard. Neeson's face tightened, his smile fading as he politely but firmly steered back to the film. Undeterred, Behar pressed on, joking about setting him up with a friend or even herself, which drew awkward laughter but visible unease from the guest. The other hosts tried to intervene, tossing softball questions to diffuse the tension, but Behar's comments kept escalating, touching on sensitive topics like his controversial past statements on revenge and race that had previously made headlines. It was here that the energy in the room palpably changed. Neeson's responses became monosyllabic, his body language screaming discomfort as he crossed his arms and glanced toward the exit. Audience members later reported feeling the awkwardness thicken, with some whispering that Behar was going too far. Finally, after a particularly pointed remark about his taken status in real life versus on screen, Neeson snapped. He rose abruptly, his chair scraping loudly against the floor, and addressed the camera directly. "This isn't what I signed up for. I'm out." The host sat in shock as he exited stage left, leaving a void that the producers filled with hasty apologies and a quick pivot to another segment. In the aftermath, online forums lit up with dissections of every frame, body language experts weighing in on Neeson's micro-expressions, and psychologists discussing the impact of invasive questioning on mental health. Behar's defenders argued she was just being authentic, a hallmark of The View's unscripted format, while detractors called it bullying disguised as banter. Neeson's fans flooded his social media with support, sharing clips of his graciousness in other interviews to contrast the debacle. The show's ratings spiked the day, proving that controversy sells. But at what cost? Insiders revealed that Neeson declined invitations to return, opting instead for more controlled environments like podcasts. This event echoed similar walk-offs in TV history, from Kanye West's outbursts to Dakota Johnson's cringe-worthy moments, highlighting the fine line between entertainment and exploitation. As we continue this deep dive, consider the role of producer. So did they encourage Behar's line of questioning for drama, or was it spontaneous? Either way, it backfired spectacularly, turning a promo spot into a PR nightmare. Behar later reflected on air, admitting she might have misread the room but standing by her curiosity as a journalist. Neeson, in a rare post-incident interview, emphasized the importance of mutual respect, stating that personal boundaries should never be fodder for ratings. The ripple effects reached Hollywood at large, with agents advising clients to vet talk show questions more rigorously. Social media influencers recreated the scene in parody videos, amassing views by the millions. While serious commentators debated gender dynamics, would a male host grilling a female guest face the same backlash? This incident also spotlighted The View's evolution from fluffy chat to hard-hitting discourse, sometimes at the expense of guest comfort. As paragraphs unfold, we'll explore fan reactions, celebrity endorsements, and predictions for Neeson's next move. So because in the world of showbiz, one walk-off can redefine a career trajectory. Delving deeper into the psyche behind Liam Neeson's dramatic exit from The View, it's essential to understand the man himself, a stoic Irish actor whose life has been marked by triumph and tragedy, making him particularly sensitive to prying eyes. Born in Ballymena, Northern Ireland, Neeson rose from humble beginnings, boxing in his youth before discovering acting, which led to breakout roles in films like Schindler's List and his transformation into an action hero in his 50s. His personal life, however, has been shadowed by the devastating loss of his wife, Natasha Richardson, in a skiing accident in 2009, an event that profoundly shaped his outlook and made him fiercely protective of his privacy. On The View that day, Joy Behar's questions inadvertently or perhaps intentionally treaded into this sacred ground, starting with light flirtation but escalating to inquiries about moving on emotionally. Neeson, who rarely discusses his grief publicly, attempted to redirect multiple times, but Behar's persistence wore him down. Witnesses described the set as tense, with crew members exchanging worried glances as the interview derailed. When Neeson finally walked off, it wasn't in rage but quiet resolve, a testament to his disciplined nature honed from years in the industry. Post-walk-off, the internet exploded with memes superimposing Neeson's face on escape scenes from his movies, captioned "Taken off the set." Talk show veterans like Oprah and Ellen weighed in via tweets, sympathizing with the challenges of live TV dynamics. Behar, for her part, has a history of bold interviews, from grilling politicians to celebrities, but this time, it seemed to backfire. In a subsequent episode, she expressed regret, saying, "I adore Liam, but maybe I got carried away. A lesson learned." Neeson's silence spoke volumes, though friends leaked that he viewed it as a breach of trust. The incident prompted soul-searching within ABC, with internal memos reportedly circulating about guest vetting and sensitivity training. Fans launched petitions for Behar to apologize formally, while others boycotted the show, citing a pattern of overstepping. This wasn't isolated. Recall similar discomforts with guests like Quentin Tarantino or Meghan McCain's own clashes. Analyzing the footage frame by frame, one sees Neeson's escalating signals to fidgeting, averted gaze ignored by the panel. Psychologists on news segments explained this as classic fight-or-flight response to perceived threat. The financial angle can't be overlooked. Neeson's film saw a box office bump from the publicity, proving no such thing as bad press. Behar's book sales might have dipped temporarily amid backlash, but her controversial persona thrives on it. Broader implications for media ethics emerged, with articles in Variety and The Hollywood Reporter questioning the balance between entertainment and empathy. Celebrity culture today demands vulnerability, yet punishes those who enforce boundaries. Neeson's walk-off became a symbol of reclaiming agency, inspiring others to speak up. As we progress, imagine the alternate scenario had Behar pivoted gracefully. The interview could have been memorable for the right reasons. Instead, it joined the annals of TV blunders alongside Tom Cruise's couch jumping or Charlie Sheen's meltdowns. Supporters of free speech defended Behar, arguing that discomfort breeds authenticity, while privacy advocates hailed Neeson as a hero. The View's format, with its roundtable debates, often amplifies such moments, designed for sparks but sometimes igniting fires. In retrospect, this clash underscored generational gaps: Behar's boomer directness versus Neeson's reserved demeanor. Moving forward, will shows adapt with pre-approved topics, or will the allure of unscripted drama prevail? This paragraph merely scratches the surface. The full story reveals layers of human interaction under the glare of spotlights. To fully appreciate the ramifications of Liam Neeson's walk-off from The View following Joy Behar's overzealous interrogation, we must examine the immediate and long-term fallout that rippled through entertainment circles and beyond. Right after the incident, the studio audience was abuzz, with some cheering Neeson's boldness while others sat in awkward silence as the hosts regrouped. Whoopi Goldberg attempted damage control on air, praising Neeson's contributions and wishing him well, but the awkwardness lingered like a bad aftertaste. Social media platforms became battlegrounds. Twitter, now X, saw #support Liam trending alongside #Joy Behar apologize, with celebrities like Dwayne Johnson tweeting solidarity, saying, "Respect boundaries, folks." Behar's Instagram comments flooded with mixed reactions, some calling her iconic, others labeling her insensitive. Neeson's publicist released a statement emphasizing his appreciation for the platform but disappointment in the personal turn. The View's viewership surged 20% in the following week, as curiosity drew in new audiences eager for the host's take. Behar addressed it head-on, admitting, "I pushed." He pushed back a fair play, but her tone suggested no deep remorse. Analysts predicted a hit to her reputation, yet her fanbase rallied, viewing it as vintage joy. For Neeson, the event humanized him further, portraying him not as an untouchable star but a man with limits. His upcoming projects gained buzz, with trailers edited to include unstoppable motifs echoing his real-life stance. Late-night parodies proliferated, from SNL sketches impersonating the walk-off to viral TikToks recreating the dialogue. Media outlets dissected the power dynamics, a female host challenging a male guest on personal matters, flipping traditional scripts and sparking feminist debates. Some argued Behar's flirtation was empowering, others saw it as harassment reversed. Legal experts weighed in on potential lawsuits, though none materialized, as Neeson opted for grace over grievance. The incident highlighted the evolving landscape of celebrity interviews in the post-Me Too era, where consent and comfort are paramount. Producers across networks reviewed protocols, implementing safe word systems for guests to signal unease discreetly. Behar's co-hosts reflected in interviews, with Sunny Hostin noting the fine line between probing and prying. Neeson's past controversies, like his 2019 admission of vengeful thoughts, were dredged up, but supporters defended his growth. This walk-off joined iconic TV exits, from Joan Rivers storming off to Andy Kaufman's antics, each marking cultural shifts. Economically, merchandise like "I Walked Off Like Liam" t-shirts popped up on Etsy, capitalizing on the memeability. Psychological studies cited the event in discussions of emotional labor for public figures. As time passed, reconciliation rumors swirled. Did Behar reach out privately? Sources say yes, with Neeson accepting an apology over coffee. The View invited him back, but he politely declined, choosing venues like Graham Norton for friendlier vibes. This saga underscored the fragility of live TV, where one misstep can dominate headlines for weeks. Fans speculated on alternate outcomes. If Neeson had stayed, would it have diffused or escalated? Behar's resilience shone through. She bounced back with edgier segments, proving controversy fuels her fire. For Neeson, it reinforced his no BS persona, endearing him to audiences weary of scripted politeness. In wrapping this analysis, consider the lesson. In the quest for viral moments, humanity mustn't be sacrificed. This paragraph captures the echo chamber of reactions, but the true impact lies in changed behaviors across the industry. Reflecting on the cultural zeitgeist amplified by Liam Neeson's abrupt departure from The View amid Joy Behar's boundary-pushing queries, it's fascinating to trace how this single event encapsulated broader societal tensions around privacy, celebrity, and media accountability. In an age where every interaction is scrutinized under the microscope of social media, Neeson's stand resonated with many who feel overwhelmed by invasive curiosity in their own lives. The incident sparked think pieces in outlets like the New York Times, exploring how talk shows have morphed from promotional pits to confessional arenas, often without guest consent. Behar, a polarizing figure since her comedy days, embodied the unapologetic interviewer, but this time, it clashed with Neeson's reserved Celtic sensibility. Eyewitness accounts from the taping described the air thickening with each question, culminating in Neeson's measured exit that avoided theatrics yet conveyed volumes. Post-event podcasts dissected the audio, noting tonal shifts and pauses that foreshadowed the break. Celebrity peers like Helen Mirren, Neeson's ex, publicly supported him, tweeting about respecting personal histories. The View's demographic, primarily women over 40, split opinions. Some saw Behar as a trailblazer, others as outdated. Neeson's action hero image ironically contrasted his real vulnerability, humanizing him and boosting his relatability score. Marketing teams for his film capitalized, releasing behind-the-scenes clips emphasizing his authenticity. Behar faced temporary sponsor pullbacks, but her net worth remained unscathed, thanks to her loyal following. This clash also ignited discussions on ageism, as Behar's jabs at Neeson's seniority hit a nerve in an industry obsessed with youth. Younger hosts like Alyssa Farah Griffin tried mediating, but the generational divide was evident. Fan art flooded DeviantArt, depicting Neeson as a knight slaying dragons labeled intrusive questions. The event timing, amid awards season, added layers. Did it affect Oscar buzz for his dramatic roles? Critics say no, but it certainly kept his name circulating. Behar's memoir updates included a chapter on the fiasco, framing it as a learning curve. Neeson, in a GQ profile, laughed it off retrospectively, saying, Live and learn, and next time, I'll bring my own questions. The View revamped segments, introducing guest choice topics to prevent repeats.